This is Mike from Two Geeks and a Microphone, and we are going to be jumping into the robotic world of Pinochia today on Mike Has Issues. Well, hello there. Like I said earlier, this is Mike from Two Geeks and a Microphone. I am one half of the Two Geeks and a Microphone hosts. Well, not half of a host, but half of the two hosts. Anyway, this is Mike Has Issues, where I kind of take a look at either individual comics, stories, or storylines, so on and so forth. And today we will be looking at a comic book called Pinochia. And this comic book is brought to us by Christian Douglas, who we did recently have on the show. Christian is a really super nice guy. We really enjoyed having him. Hope to have him back again sometime soon. Anyway, he wrote this story, Pinochia. He is involved, let me give a brief introduction of Christian. Christian Douglas is a Spanish creator with 30 years of experience. He has a background in theater, and he's been active in comic books since 2014. Christian is one of the creators behind the Unpopular Tales studio, and their focus is to bring back folk tales, but put a 21st century spin on the folk tales. Giving them a grittiness and a cautionary tale. So you won't get any singing animals or they lived happily ever after, per se. The idea is to imagine how the original writers of the original folklore, fairy tales, however you want to say it, if they were alive and writing the stories today, how they may interpret these characters in a more modern sense. For instance, Geppetto, instead of being a puppet maker, he might become a robotics designer, and which is what brings us to Pinochia, which you see on the screen right now. And so Pinochia follows a machine created by Geppetto, who is a robotics engineer. He's a descendant of survivors from a major human-robot conflict. Desperate to save humanity, Geppetto builds Pinochia, an advanced android that resembles a 12-year-old girl, equipped with state-of-the-art AI and lifelike camouflage, meaning as she goes along, she will get more skin and hair and so on and so forth. She will look more human as she goes along. Pinochia is tasked with finding and aiding the last human survivors and restoring the balance between humans and robots. She will be trained and guided by mentors along the way, and we'll kind of meet some of those mentors here in just a moment. Anyway, she'll be guided by these mentors to complete her insurmountable task. Pinochia is fierce, she's intelligent, and she's a driven android determined to achieve peace. So there's a hopeful side to this also in a dystopian type future. The characters that Pinochia, or as she's referred to in the book, is Pai, P-A-I. The characters that she runs into, first she discovers E2, well, there's kind of a look of the dystopian future right there. It gives you an idea of what it looks like, the landscape, so on and so forth. And then E2 is another AI, and he's there to help train Pinocchio. I like E2. He's a very interesting character, and I hope we see more of him. Well, I know we'll see more of him in upcoming issues. So there's E2. The next one is Ishtar. I hope I'm saying that right. So Pinocchio meets Ishtar along with a couple others in her during her training. And here's one of the others. This is Little Man, who is not so little. I think that was the idea. And then this is Lex. Sorry, that one's a little blurry, but the Lex pics are pretty small. So, and I'm taking screenshots of Christian's comic book, which I hope he doesn't mind. Oops. And I really like Lex. Lex is that example of the lovable little robot that doesn't speak English. And, there's always a lovable little robot in these sci-fi adventures. I mean, Star Wars, of course, has R2D2. And recently they had BB-8. You could even say Chopper from Rebels. Although Chopper's sometimes lovable, not always lovable. You know what I mean? And I got a feeling that Lex can sometimes maybe be a little bit like Chopper. We'll find out in further issues. Another example of that might be Twiggy from not Battlestar, Buck Rogers. Hey Buck. Anyway, so he's just an example of a fun little robot who's kind of a loving little robot that everyone, falls in love with. So I think when you read this book, or if you get this book, you'll understand what I mean and you'll like it. So anyway, she meets these characters during her training, and Pinocchio, like I said, is a modern take on the Pinocchio story. But it dives into themes such as humanity's relationship with technology. And, it's kind of asking the question, is this a dangerous thing for us? Should we be as involved with technology as we are today? I say this using all kinds of technology to do this episode. The potential of consequences of unchecked AI development. Again, it goes into the whole AI, whether AI is a good thing, whether it's a bad thing. I personally think AI can be a good thing. It just depends on how it's used. The search for purpose and identity in a changing world. Pinocchio is trying to figure out exactly why she's there. What is her mission? What is she there to do? What is so important? And the power of hope and resilience, even in the darker times. And I think it's always good to have some type of hope to look forward to. So I really appreciate in Christian's writing that he's adding that silver lining of hope in there. That there's something there that we can all grasp for, to reach out and hopefully be able to get that and not have such a bleak future. I personally think Pinocchio is a very interesting book, and the art is just beautiful. It's amazing art. I just cannot gush any more about the art than I am now. So it's a very interesting retelling of Pinocchio with a modern day look at the story. At one point, it's almost like Pinocchio meets Road Warriors Beyond Thunderdome. or Mad Max is Beyond Thunderdome, I should say. I know Mad Max is Roadrunner, or Road Warrior, not Runner. Anyway, yeah, I really enjoy this book. I know the campaign is over. I'm not sure at this point how you would get the book. Because as far as I know, Christian doesn't have a website that you could just go and purchase the book. But this is volume 2 of Unpopular Tales, and volume 1 was actually available in other printings alongside volume 2, and volume 1 was a retelling of Red Riding Hood, a very adult theme version of Red Riding Hood, but it was Red Riding Hood, so it follows right alongside with the whole retelling of the classic fairy tales in a modern spin. But anyway, you could get a copy of that along with Pinocchio when this campaign was going on. So I would imagine when Unpopular Tales Volume 3 comes out, there'll probably be an option to get Red Riding Hood and Pinocchio along with whatever Volume 3 is. I'm hoping Volume 3 is part 2 of Pinocchio, but I don't know. I don't know what their plans are. Christian unfortunately hasn't told us that. So, but we will look forward to having Christian back once Volume 3 comes out, and he can then tell us on the show what is to come. So hopefully that won't be too far in the future. I'll keep tabs with Christian and find out for you and let you know, whether it be on Two Geeks and a Microphone or here on Mike Has Issues. So, like I said, just if you can, check out Pinocchio. If you've gotten it, enjoy it, read it. Leave me a message. Tell me what you thought of it, how you liked it. If you got Red Riding Hood, let me know if you like that too. I'd like to hear some feedback on that. And I know Christian would like to hear feedback on it. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Oh, my score. I'll just make this generic, I'll make this Lex robots. We'll make it Lex. On a scale of 1 to 10 Lex robots, I'm going to give this a 9. 9 Lex robots. Like I said, it's a very fun comic book. I really enjoy the retelling of the classic Pinocchio story in a more modern sense. I think it's smart. It's just a lot of fun, honestly. And then again, the art is just phenomenal. So well worth the buy, well worth it to check out Unpopular Tales. So that's all I got for today. Signing off, and I will see you next time. Adios.